A very good evening, viewers. You're watching South Speaks, and today the topic is from Karnataka, and this is once again in connection to the IT employees. Now, when Narayan Murthy proposed 70 hours per week, it became a big bone of contention. Now it looks like this is somewhere becoming close to reality, as the Karnataka government has proposed an amendment to really increase the working hours to over 12 hours per day. Now, as per sources, the state government is considering amending the Karnataka Shops and Commercial Establishment Act of 1961. The reason being, there are some proposals that they have received. At present, the labour rules permit employees to put in a steady 9-hour shift with the choice, of course, to extend an hour more, and that's overtime. But this is now said to increase by nearly 3 hours. And this proposal has come in from of the IT companies, the management, to the government. Now, add this to the job reservation controversy, and the IT employees unions are now up in arms. Let's listen into what they have to say regarding this proposal.
So basically, they proposed a bill which says there is no limit for any working hours. Previously, there's a limit of you cannot be allowed to work for more than 10 hours, forced to work for more than 10 hours. But now the upper limit has been removed. So second thing is that this one totally on average 14 hours. Amendment what has been brought in, it says that on average 14 hours employee has to work. So it's absolutely unacceptable. It is never been in the history any government has suggested such an amendment. So this is absolutely inhuman. We don't have to show any facts or proof that why is it. It's a basic common sense person cannot work for 14 hours. So imagine the cost which will impact on their lives. So currently already with the current situation, as per quite number of studies, this one currently employees who are currently working in IT with the current work pressure, 45% of the employees are currently under mental health issues like depression. And 55% of the employees are in this one physical or physical health issues like back pain, neck pain, lack of vitamin E deficiency, and etc. So we can imagine what will happen after if you are working for 14 hours.
Now, Suhas Adiga, of course, is expected to be with us in the debate as well very shortly. Now, meanwhile, the government, of course, has been facing intense opposition. The Labour Minister Santosh Lad has shifted the blame on companies and said that the industries are pressurizing the government. But on the other hand, NASSCOM has even said that it never asked the government to increase the timings of employees.
The bill has come to us because the IT industries, it's not the minister who has bought himself. The industries are pressurizing, asking for this they want. So obviously, since the pressurization is from the industries there, so this bill has come to us. Still, we are evaluating from the Labour Department. Now the question is, I want all the heads of the industries to discuss on this. Since this matter has come into the public, there are so many dissents among the IT employees. I want people to have their opinion. Based on to that, definitely we as a department we will look into what has to be done.
There are some false narratives that are being said that the law is being changed to ask people to work 14 hours a day. NASSCOM has said very clearly, nobody is asking for more than 48 hours per day, which is 48 hours per week, which is the law. What people are asking is, within the overall time that is allowed per week and plus overtime, people should be allowed to work 14 hours on any day where there is an emergency. Don't believe these IT unions. They don't have any following. They thrive on creating confusion. They thrive on creating unnecessary controversy, right?
Meanwhile, there's the Deputy Chief Minister who has said that they will take a call only after they speak to all the stakeholders.
I may oppose, you may oppose. We have to take them into conference. It is the working hours will be different from the outer part of the country on the international timings. So we will discuss with them. We will call all of them and look at. We want them to have a very peace atmosphere.
The opposition in Karnataka, the BJP, has also blamed the Congress government for once again bringing this matter up.
My request to the Honorable Chief Minister is, see, Bengaluru is a global hub, it's an IT hub. Whatever decision that needs to be taken regarding to IT and other department, private sector, every stakeholder has to be taken into confidence. Chief Minister cannot take decision unilaterally. Let them set right the whatever inefficiencies there in Karnataka and the state government. Doubt is whether Chief Minister was really serious on this issue.
Well, let me open this up today to get a clear perspective as to who wants what and what is the government actually going to do. Suhas Adiga, we just heard him a little while earlier. He's the General Secretary of the Karnataka State IT Employees Union. He's joining us today on the broadcast. We also have Samrudh Hegde, the spokesperson from the Congress Party, Madhu N. Rao, spokesperson of the BJP, Samir Lodha, CEO, TechSpin Services Private Limited, Priya Chetty-Rajagopal, Managing Partner, Multiversal Advisory LLP. She's also with us today on the broadcast. Let me first take this across to Mr. Suhas. We heard you there a little while earlier. Now, you were talking about various issues that IT employees are already facing. Now, we just heard the Minister for Labour, and he clearly says at this point in time there are certain people who made this proposal. It is still something that's on the open forum. People can come give us suggestions. He says that there are people who are against it as well, and it's good that the matter has come out in the public forum now for people to really discuss about it. Are you going to really go with a memorandum, submit, some of the aspects that you just spoke about earlier, that they're already overburdened? You spoke about mental health issues. You spoke about other problems that employees are facing.
So these points which you have pointed out, it has been pointed out in the meeting itself where we were called and the amendment was presented, proposal was presented there. So we have made it very clear. So this is inhuman. It turns into slavery as well. So it is absolutely unacceptable. So one more thing we need to note is that if this law is being implemented, the shift system will have to be changed. Currently, people are working 3 shifts, so it will lead to 2-shift system, which will reduce the workforce by 1/3 who are working in the shift-based systems. So this is a very serious threat to the people who are working here. So it will end up in extracting the more from the employees, and generating profit for the employers as well. So this is completely unacceptable. So we have a living. So current, as per the addition to the point which was made before. So as per the KCC study, Knowledge Chamber of Commerce and Industries, as per their study, currently 74% of the employees who are noted that they are currently missing their person priorities, like let it be child's birthday, or let it be wedding anniversary, or any other sort of personal events. They have missed that so that they can support for the company when any issue or critical issue comes up. So this is the status which is there. So escalating the working hours without any limit. So the amendment which was presented over there, proposal was presented over there. There was no limit for how many hours the employee can be made to work. So in current scenario, only we know how much employees are made to work. So it's absolutely unacceptable. We are pushing to this one without any question. This has to be stopped.
Okay, you stay with us, Mr. Suhas. We'll come back to you to get another perspective. Before I get the 2 political representatives as well, I also want to bring in Samir Lodha and also Priya Chetty. Priya, coming to you. How do you really view this proposal? Some of the companies coming forward and telling the government, because the government says we don't want to do it. This is the companies that are coming and suggesting this to us, and we are looking at it as an option. Because you had somebody of the likes of even Mr. Narayan Murthy, of course, who's respected across the country, who spoke about 70 hours of putting in 70 hours of work in a week. So when you have this proposal that has come in from the government, which is just talking about 125 hours spread out over a few weeks, how do you really look at this?
Deepak, there are 2 ways of looking at it. One is what work you opt to do because there are pressures or there are outcomes, and that's typically sort of focused on a more senior kind of level of worker, the mid-level or senior level kind of person. And the second thing is what is legislated, and ours is 48 hours, and there's a reason for that. So these 2, I think, are an important thing to sort of factor in, because the conversation, what I hear is there's a desire to have the access to a longer working week when there is pressure, not to mandate to change it completely. If indeed they're looking at changing the working hours to increase it to 17 hours or 14 hours a day, it is going to be definite. I mean, I agree with Suhas and a few others that this is going to put a lot of pressure on the blue collar and the clerical workers, because you essentially are taking away private life, you're essentially putting a lot of pressure. And in these times, people are always taking multiple roles. The second thing is that I believe that, industry is being targeted when possibly there's no reason to target. If NASSCOM has said, and the focus has been IT, ITeS, and NASSCOM has said we've never said anything of that sort, I kind of wonder where this is coming from. And the third thing is we've always been, as a nation, a very hardworking nation. We have got to where we are by dint of our effort, by our focus. And Bangalore particularly has never really held back in terms of working more. And a certain category which is entitled to overtime, will work when there is something to be done and there's collective interest and focus on outcomes. But to mandate it, I think, is going to be something which is maybe not very correct. And the reasons and the motivations for doing so, I'm sorry, I may not be very well informed if that is the case, but they don't seem very clear to me, Deepak.
Okay, you make an interesting point there. This is something that I was trying to get at. I'll bring in Mr. Lodha as well. When you talk about especially the IT sector, it's a known fact that many of them, of course, who are watching this show, and you probably could give us more clarity whether it happens in your company as well. People land up working beyond the stipulated 9 or 10 hours at this point in time. So now, with the government really coming in and mandating it, Mr. Lodha, how does things really change? And also, from the management perspective, do you feel that this directive is important, or do you feel that, like what Mrs. Woes was pointing out, that it just leads to extra burden and stress on the employees?
Yeah, first of all, good evening, everyone. I think what is important is to understand where all of this, comes from. Essentially, it is kind of choice that people make. It's not that, you are mandating anyone to come and sit and work for extra hours. It's kind of a choice where people who are willing to work more or kind of trying to learn new things, essentially put in that kind of an effort. I don't think making it something as a mandate is really important, but understanding and so essentially it is all about creating more hours so that people can learn and earn more who are willing to.
But how do you really rationalize this as learning? For them working extra hours, how do you really put it across as learning? Because somebody who's worked 6 months in a company, and probably, most of the IT, people, whenever you meet them, they say that their work is so monotonous. And they have nothing, to learn per se in that extra 2 hours. And even if they have to, they should probably do it in the time frame that they're already given. That's within the 9 hours or the 10 hours that they're working. So can you really rationalize them, expending 15 hours at work, 14 hours at work, and then say, well, they're learning more? Is that a rationale, Mr. Lodha?
No, that's not really the rationale. The point I'm trying to make is, that there are people who are passionate and want to do more in whatever capacity they can, right? And at the same time, there has to be avenues for them to do that. Now, if you look at, if you have to really learn, there has to be some extra effort that has to be put in. Now that necessarily can't come from the same amount of time and work that you're doing every day, and you call it monotonous, right? So whatever extra you want to learn, you put in extra hours for that. And I think that's the only flexibility that we should look at from all of this per se.
Okay, let me bring back Mr. Suhas Ariga as well. Mr. Suhas, we just heard from Priya Chetty, that also Mr. Samir Lodha. They had two different points of view. What is your take on what they said, and how do you really view this?
I don't agree with the point what this one person has made, like saying that it's a learning opportunity. No, like what happens is, what is the scenario in the industry is that, so if the working hours is more, the person or resources in the team can be reduced, so that like more load can be put on people. So this always has been this one talk point, that you will learn more by this one working more hours or something like that. But we as employees, we know what is the reality. So it is putting more burden, extracting more money, and this one making company more profitable with this one less resources. So this is the reality what is it. So as I said, like in the case of like this one, the shift based works. So in case of 3 shifts, 2 shift can be this one appointed, right? So in that case, how do you justify that, like people working for 4 or 5 hours more? So this is not at all acceptable. So these arguments we as a union doesn't accept. So we take it as a challenge to working class. So whatever the new trend has brought in. So we will fight it like that itself. So we will take up, we call for all the IT employees across the board, across India. So come and join us so that we can stop this act. So,
Okay, stay with us because we have the Congress representative here as well. Probably can give us more clarity here. Samrudh Hegde, how do you really look at this proposal right now and how do you want to move? Because you're looking at stiff opposition. On one hand, NASSCOM is saying, well, we didn't ask for this. Many of them, from the industry are not for it. But on the other hand, there are some, proposals that you're saying you're receiving where people want, increased working hours. Mr. Lodha made a point that, well, some of them want to learn. If they want to put in that extra effort, they can. But the question is, are already employees being subjected to this? Saying that if you work beyond, the stipulated 10 hours, you're considered as a hardworking employee. And, it changes the mindset. Now, if the government actually brings in a law and mandates something like this, does it give an opportunity to companies to exploit, employees? Or do you feel that it leads to the company itself becoming more viable and the economy in turn, blossoming? Is that something that the government is looking? Please explain to us what's the thought process behind this, even accepting this proposal or looking into it from the government side.
See, Deepak, I find it perplexing that there's an inherent need to jump the gun and act prematurely and act in haste. The recent situation is that a certain IT heads, heads of IT companies and certain corporate heads have come out with the proposal to amend this act of the Section 7 of the Karnataka Shops and Establishments Act. So has the government passed any circulars, any directives? Have they passed any orders? No, it's at a very nascent stage. We receive thousands of proposals every day, and that's the way this government functions. We don't bulldoze bills, we don't bulldoze acts like how other governments have done in the past, like how the BJP government is doing in the center. We hold stakeholder meetings, and in one such stakeholder meeting, this kind of proposal has come out where we have to increase the hours. Now, we have to fully consider it. We'll take a necessary call. But let me remind you, Deepak, that this Karnataka Shops and Establishment Act was brought in by the Congress government. These hours were set in by the Congress government. Who brought in labor reforms in India? Who brought in the Minimum Wages Act? Who brought in the Equal Remuneration Act? Who brought in the NREGA? Who brought in these acts which prevent exploitation? And who brought in acts which also promote industry? So let us not insult the wisdom of our ministries. Let us wait patiently. We shall take a call after taking all stakeholders into consideration. And our primary objective is to ensure that there is no exploitation of workers, because we are aware of, if we mandate a certain hours, we know that people are going to go beyond that and there will be abuse of that. And it's not just certain IT heads who want to work. They will be a force. They will be forced to work. Otherwise, they'll be fired. So we will ensure that we take into consideration the employees, and we will also take into consideration the IT companies and their growth.
But also some questions are coming up as to, where is this proposal and this thought really coming in from as well, Mr. Hegde?
As per my information, the IT ministry had received certain proposals from certain tech heads and corporate heads who wanted to increase it. And as my learned friend, I forget his name, he also said that there is certain people who in the industry who want the hours to extend. So that proposal has come in. It's at a very nascent stage. And we cannot jump the gun and go on to say that we are. And I saw the heading in your channel which says it's a very contentious proposal by the Karnataka government. It's not a proposal by the Karnataka government. It's in consideration, and nothing has been acted upon on it.
Right. Okay. Now let's bring in the BJP here, Madhu and Rao. What's the objection that the BJP has? Because as far as Mr. Hegde is concerned, he's saying that as far as labor laws protecting their interests, this is something that the Congress has championed from decades.
Deepak,
the BJP shouldn't really be, saying or giving lessons to the Congress party.
Deepak, good evening, and to all of you. I, for a moment, thought, the whole of universe has come into existence because of the Congress party. Fair enough. Let it be as it may. The point of issue is this. Did we tell Mr. Santosh Lad to speak in a way as what he has spoken? What did he say? I quote, he told, we are under pressure from the IT industry. Who is the IT industry, by the way? Point one. Point two, Mr. D.K. Shivkumar says, we will see and we will consider it. And then Mr. H.K. Patil says, fair enough, the bill is already ready, it will be tabled. I would only request Mr. Samruddh Hegde, who is my good friend, advocate friend, to go and tell whatever he told for 2 minutes and give them gyan in KPCC office. What are you guys doing? This is again a Tughlaq Sarkar in the making. Simply put, whom are you fooling? I mean, what are you doing? You say at one instance that it is in a nascent stage. You say, yes, public opinion needs to be gathered. And another person says, oh no, the bill will be introduced. What are we trying to understand in this government, Deepak? Our only issue is this. We are with the 20 lakh odd employees of the IT industry. I mean, NASCAM has told, we have not told it. And the KITU says, we have not told it. Then who am you? Who are those people? Please spell it out. Please put them on.
He just did mention that. He just did mention that, Mr. Rao, that
Well,
some of
okay,
them from
fair enough.
the
Who's
IT
that?
industry,
Deepak,
they are the ones. The employers wanted this. Is the statement that came in from him? That's why I sought clarity.
Fair enough, Deepak. Where is Mr. Priyank Karge, who is the IT minister? For every issue, he'll be jumping and he'll be giving answers and asking questions. Where is he, by the way? Is there any statement by him? BJP demands a statement from him at least. Let him come out in the open and say, where is the bill? Are they introducing the bill or not? Let them be serious at least. I mean, this is Mama Mia stories with the Congress party. I mean, look at what is happening in brand Bangalore. It is going beyond, and these people are trying to put in efforts of 14 hours. I mean, these people are trying to be inhuman, is all that I can say. I mean, let the first thing be to happen is let the Congress party
but don't you feel here, Mr. Rao, don't you feel for the Congress, if it receives a proposal like this, to consider it is their duty? Because if you have industry giants who've spoken things like this in the past and now write to the state, now all that I'm saying is they have not made this law. What they're saying is we are going to consider all aspects, and why not?
Deepak,
if you're going to hear every point of view, is that wrong? Is that wrong to hear different points of view?
Fair enough. If they are trying to gather public opinion, why did they have to say that the bill is ready and it will be tabled in the assembly, by the way? I mean, if you have already decided to introduce the bill, where is the question of taking the public opinion? I mean, this is oxymoron. I really don't understand what the Congress party in Karnataka is thinking all about. Just few days back, there was a U-turn, and there have been n number of U-turns what this government has done. I mean, is it a deflectionary tactic from the real issues? I really don't know. I mean, everyone are confused. So as the ministers in the Congress party, HK party is saying
okay, very quickly, Mr. Hegde, rebut to that. Mr. Rao says the other day you tried to bring in reservation in private jobs. Now you are looking at this proposal, talking about it, and then there's lack of clarity as to what exactly the government plans to do about it.
I'm going to repeat again that it's a very, very nascent state. We've received the proposal.
Please go tell it in the KPCC office. Why did you table the bill?
Let me finish. So we have an IT minister, we have the Labour Minister, they have to have consultations. We all have to sit together and come out with how we're going to move forward with this. There is no bill which has been ready. The amendment is not yet ready to say that, we're going to increase it to 14 hours. There is no statement also with that regard. It's a very nascent stage, and the Labour Minister has come out and made a statement today that all the stakeholders have to have a meeting.
No, but the question here is, Mr. Hegde, one thing that everybody on the panel, everybody watching the show would wonder is, why has it come to a situation where statements are being made, these things are being said by ministers, and then all of a sudden it says we are going back to the drawing board? Why not, talk about these aspects while you're on the drawing board?
Deepak, one more question.
And say, well, this is something that we're looking at. We will call for public opinion. We'll have a meeting with all stakeholders, and then come out and say, there is a possibility we could do this. You talk about reservation, it's all over social media, and then you have, people delete it. Now you're talking about, this particular proposal that you received. After it, you say, we're looking at amendment, and now you say, well, we'll again mull over it, we'll discuss with stakeholders. Why is this discussion not happening first and then decisions later?
No, there's no decision at all. It is at the discussion stage. So when a decision is taken, then it can be debated, and you can tell me whether we are making a mistake by jumping the gun. It's in the drawing board stage. We are in a stage where everything is being discussed. So where is the issue? I don't find the need to say that we're going a U-turn or anything like that, because I think the frenzy has been created to discredit this government and destabilize this government over small issues, over tables which are in the drawing board.
Okay, Mr. Hegde. So the Congress says it's only an attempt by the BJP to derail this government. As of now, it's still a matter that is under discussion. No decision has been taken. I'm thanking all our panelists for joining us today. This is an issue, of course, we'll continue to follow up with the Congress party and all the stakeholders.